All right, welcome everybody out there in EL Achieve Land. My name is Jamie Garner. I'm the director of Title III Consortium, and I have some teachers here with me today. If you take a look at the screen, you will see where Southwest Nebraska is. We border Colorado and Kansas, and the consortium has about 23 school districts in that circle area. We are very proud of where we are and what we've done this year in the pandemic. Let me move to the next slide. I wanted just to let everyone out there know that in Southwest Nebraska and in most of the state of Nebraska, we were in-person learning. Kids came to school this year, and it was an amazing feat. Because I think people were really nervous, teachers and staff and educators, but we did it, and we're almost at the end. Since I traveled to many of the schools, some schools had masks that were required. Some schools just recommended them. Although the schools took this pandemic very seriously, we had different ways of checking in. I had temperature checks sometimes. I was writing a whole screener question of who I've been around, and some just gave me a hand sanitizer squirt and got my hands, and in I went. So we had lots of different types of check-ins. Most of the schools that I was aware of were really cleaning very well, and desks and hallways. And in fact, I had a teacher that she took on the extra job of doing some cleaning and had to spray pack on her back and was spraying desks. So we took the COVID seriously and to keep the kids and the staff safe. And we had to deal with quarantine, and schools handled that differently also. Some quarantined at home and were able to provide a remote learning situation. Some schools quarantined at school, and kids came to school if they were symptom-free. So it was a different year for us in Nebraska, and schools were able to individualize according to their needs of their staff and students and community. But I feel very proud of the teachers, not only that I worked with, but the teachers in Southwest Nebraska, because they faced the fear and they've conquered it. They have conquered it. And we are about 5 weeks for the end of the school, and we are Nebraska strong. So I'm very excited to say we're hopefully coming to the end of that, and how well the kids did this year of being in-person learning. I want to share with you and introduce you to some of the teachers that will be sharing parts of their year. First of all, we're all former first grade teachers. Yay to that. I was a former first grade teacher also, but they have now accepted the challenge of working with EL students, and I can tell you they are fabulous. They are fabulous. We have all different sizes of school represented here. Kim Mocker is from Hay Center. She is probably from the smallest school in the state of Nebraska. They have about 100 kids, K through 12. So she'll be sharing with you first. Terry Meyer is an EL teacher at Chase County Schools. They have about 650 students. So they have like almost a 2-track, 3-track school. And she will share some of her experiences in a medium-sized school. And then Kelly Sheets is from North Platte Public School. It is the largest district in our consortium. It has about 4,300 students. So I'm sure you'll be excited to hear from them. And so we will stop share here and have us all on the screen. So Kim, take it over.
Okay, I work with about 10 kids in our EL Achieve program. And during COVID, I made deliveries to homes. We made up packets, and our state kind of helped us with different things that we could use. And So I would deliver those in person to our students that lived in town. And they just got so excited when I came. Their parents were very excited. There were a couple that I had to mail. And then in between, when I would deliver the packets, I would call the parents and talk. And it was just a joy to me to feel the excitement of the parents on the other end. All of our EL Achieve students are Hispanic, and so obviously the parents speak Spanish. And the moms could understand enough when I would call that if I needed to wait till later, they'd say, call back when dad's home. And so it made me feel so good to be able to do this and to do it for the students. And then they would look forward to knowing I was coming back in a couple weeks. I had one student that, now we're in Southwest Nebraska, which is a rural area and farming. And so I was out in the tractor helping my husband, and I had one of my students text me, "Could you bring me some more work?" And I said, "Of course I can. I have to finish, so it'll probably be tomorrow." But I thought, well, how neat. And so they really wanted to learn during that time. Um, I guess also along with switching to the ALPA 21 testing, when we do that, I am able to make homemade treats for the students. And so that thrills them, that gets them excited, kind of relaxes them a little bit. And that is something too that they look forward to, is knowing Mrs. Mocker is going to bring treats. And the ones that have been with me for a few years, I'll say, well, do you have any idea what you'd like? Yes. Could you bring such and such? And some of the kiddos, before they take the Alpha 21, they are very, very nervous. So just trying to get them calmed down, that, it's okay. You just can do your best. And this is the first year that I've been able to do the testing in my room where they come for EL. So that made them way more comfortable than walking to our high school, which is a block away. One other thing that we do, we started in May of 2019, and we had a potluck supper in the park. And so the families would just bring a favorite dish, and then we played a bingo game. And of course, last year we didn't get to do that. And this year they've been asking. So we're trying to get a date picked that we can get together to share. And that all started from them always talking about favorite foods that their moms make. And so once again, we're small, so it's like a big family reunion when we get together, and we had a great turnout at the first one, and I feel like we will, when we do one in May. So those are some of the things that I'm able to do. And it's like Jamie said, it's because we're a very small area, small school, and our EL families, for the most part, really fit together well. So that's what I have to share.
All right, thank you, Kim. Thank you. All right, our medium-sized school, Terry Meyer, is going to share some of the things that she's worked on this year.
Well, I'm from Imperial, Nebraska, and we have between 50 and 60 EL students in our program. K through 6 has around 30, 35, and then the others are high school. And I work mostly with K6, although there's a couple times a day that I have high school students in my room because they need a place to go. We have 2 full-time ELL teachers, and this year they took our high school teacher and put her down to half-time EL, and so we moaned and complained and carried on, and we got a full-time high school teacher for next year. And we need that because the high school kids are the ones that are probably struggling the most. They have the most vocabulary and expanded requirements to complete. And so we're really excited that we were able to get our high school, middle school, high school educator back to full time. EL Achieve has been an excellent source for us to use as a curriculum. And if we can get our hands on those little guys, kindergarten through second grade, we seem to be able to generally get them tested out within 3 to 4 years, and that's quite awesome. The high school kids, well, as you know, they've got so much more language to learn, and if they're behind it all in the classes, then that takes a bit more, and so they become a little more frustrated. But we've been very pleased with the EL Achieve program. One of the things that I have started doing, and I don't do it every lesson, but the kids working with their vocabulary, they seem to retain the vocabulary words much better if they can draw a picture and then write the word out in big print and put it up on the wall. And I'll try and turn it around so I can show you several up here on my wall. Maybe I can get just a little closer. Sorry, are you dizzy yet?
You're spinning. We got it. We got it.
All right. So can you see that?
Yes.
One of the word walls. And because they draw the pictures, they remember the vocabulary, all of the kids. And I have 5th and 6th graders that will look at their wall. Can you see those?
Yes.
All right. But they also want to know what the 1st and 2nd graders are doing on their wall. And so they're actually picking up even more vocabulary. I used to put the posters on the wall myself with the vocabulary up there, but they just seem to do so much better when they've made the pictures and put the vocabulary on a piece of construction paper themselves. So that's one of the things that we really enjoy doing. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, Terry. And our next teacher is from our largest school district. And so Kelly, take it away and share with us your year.
So I pretty much echo the sentiments of the other small schools, but we have quite a larger population in our district. And so we had lots of...
Kelly, can you get a little closer to the computer? Just a little closer. Yeah.
Is that better?
Yes, it is. Thanks.
Okay, perfect. So as I was saying, I echo the sentiments of the other two teachers. This year, we had the option to go remote, so a very few of our students did, but most of them came in person, and that has been the majority since the very get-go. When we all were forced remote in March last year, I, like Kimberly said, also made packets for the students, and we had the kids come and pick them up. And same as what she said, they were so excited just to have something at their level, something that they had experience with, and something that they were familiar with to work with over the summer. And so we provided those several times, I think 4 or 5 times throughout the end of that school year and into the summer as supports. And then this year when we rolled it out, we actually had the students that went remote, they would get a recorded lesson. So they would hear the same lesson that the other students were doing, but it would be pre-recorded using EL Achieve slides. So those slides were a huge resource for our district. And I did have just a few EL students that were remote, but the ones that did all engaged with the software. So we couldn't do as much interacting because we didn't do it live, but still for them to be able to hear me say, echo that, and the kids would hopefully be at home echoing. A lot of them talked about that. So that was really helpful. And then the other thing I just wanted to share was how COVID changed our structured interactions. So one of the biggest things that EL Achieve focuses on is that interaction between students in different variables, different groups. And when we had COVID hit, we were told no group activities, no board game, no interaction, sit in your chair. And we were instantly struggling because it was like, if we can't talk, how are the students going to retain the information? So we got creative and we used Flipgrid, which is a website where You can record yourself talking, and then the other students can hear it play back. So that was a good structure that we used. We also used Voki.com, which is a similar app. And the students were able to either type or say their language, and then they could hear the other students presenting those as well. And they also used some of the traditional formats like lines of communication. Traditionally, you're this close, and with COVID, we couldn't be. So we put duct tape on the floor and had our 6 feet apart, and students were masked up and still saying their interactions. And we did the same thing with board game. So we had the students laying on the carpet, feet apart from each other, but we still felt that those were so valuable that we couldn't leave them out. And we used the structures to do a snowball fight where they would, roll up a ball of paper and throw the sentence across the room. But they stayed 6 feet apart and they just took somebody else's paper. So just finding flexibility and in the midst of all of this was tough, but I think it made us stronger teachers. And I think EL Achieve really helped us get there. Having all of those structures in place and the different flexibility pieces that go along with that helped our kids so that they were coming in this year ready to learn. And they have gained so much this year being in person and being here every day, even though it was hard, even when you're muffled behind your mask, it was just really good to have them here and have those interactions.
All right, thank you, Kelly. Well, that is our reflection of our working with EL Kids and EL Achieve this past year. And so we wanted to say thank you for watching from Southwest Nebraska and the Educational Service Unit Consortium. Bye.
Thank you.